DCS Ka-50 Black Shark, possibly one of the most complete helicopter simulations available, designed from the outset for single-seat attack helicopter operations. So when you find yourself retyping to different aircraft, it's useful to have a basic retyping refresher course on the basic essentials. To reach the target area, first of all, we must navigate to the target area. Since the DCS Ka-50 Black Shark is a systems complete aircraft and modelled closely on the real thing, which permits single pilot operation into the battle area. Most of the systems are specifically designed to permit single pilot navigation and single pilot target detection and weapons employment.
Good morning. In today's lesson we will be covering en-route navigation using the Abris, PVI 800 and the autopilot. This mission follows the original en-route navigation training video released by Eagle Dynamics, but brings the training into the cockpit for a hands-on experience. If you are having trouble hearing me, exit the mission and turn down the world and in-cockpit sounds. I have disabled your HOTAS control synchronization for the duration of this mission, as it can interfere with training instructions. If you have disabled your spacebar key as your fire button, please enable it for this mission to work properly. Two systems on the Ka-50 Black Shark we'll be concentrating on in this mission are the Abris AMMS, or Advanced Moving Map System, and the PVI 800 Navigation System. The two systems are independent of each other. The PVI 800 can only use up to 6 pre-programmed waypoints that are loaded from the mission editor and cannot use navigation data entered into the Abris during the flight. The Abris uses data from satellites and onboard sensors to determine its position and heading. It has a suite of useful digital readouts, including the moving map that displays your position on a topographical moving map of the region. Keep this limit in mind if you plan to create missions in the mission editor. You should perform a test of the navigation system prior to takeoff. Make sure the radar altimeter needle is pointed to 0. Set the minimum safe altitude by using the adjustment knob. When the altitude of the aircraft falls below this point, an alarm will sound. The default setting is 100 meters. Set it to 105 meters by rotating your mouse wheel over the adjustment knob. Check that the heading indication on the HSI and magnetic compass are in relation to your takeoff heading. Check that the gold NDB radio bearing RMI needle is correct on the HSI. For this flight and the ADF channel that has been selected, the needle should be pointing to about 29 degrees. Set the mode select switch on the PVI 800 to the operate mode. Press the waypoint push light on the keypad to enter waypoint navigation mode. The light will be blue when on. Press the number 1 key on the PVI 800 keypad to select waypoint 1 as our steer point, and then press the spacebar key to continue. Set the DH-DTA switch, or desired heading, desired track angle switch, next to the HSI to the auto position. Set the DH or DT, desired heading, desired track sub-mode switch on the autopilot panel to the DH position. In the DH mode, the aircraft will turn toward your current steer point. In DT mode, the aircraft will intercept the desired course track and stabilize on it. Turn the Abris to the map screen by hitting the nav key or push button 5. Now hit the map button on the Abris or push button 2 to select the map options. Press push button 3 to zoom in and push button 4 to zoom out to scale the map so you can see today's course. Press the spacebar when you are ready to continue. Ensure that the INU heading data switch is set to the gyro or directional gyro position. In most missions, this switch is set to gyro by default. Check the aircraft's position on the Abris to ensure it is at the initial start point and the heading is to the first waypoint. Then start the flight time clock by left-clicking once on the left clock lever. Using your HOTAS, slowly move the collector forward and gradually move the cyclic forward to take off. Maintain your heading down the runway. Once you have gained some altitude, press G on the keyboard to raise your landing gear. Try to maintain a speed of about 200 kph by moving the cyclic forward or backwards to push the nose of the aircraft up or down about 5 degrees. Once you have reached stable flight, trim the aircraft to reduce some of the forces and inputs required to fly the aircraft. If it's not correct, trim the aircraft again to achieve the desired goal. When you trim the aircraft, it may be necessary to pull back on the stick so the nose of the aircraft doesn't point downward violently. Press the spacebar to continue when you have trimmed your aircraft and/or stable. The route mode switch is a thumb switch located on the top of the collective. It has 3 settings: route, neutral, and descent. In descent mode, the aircraft will use minor adjustments of the collective to start a descent to the landing zone, but should only be used from a hover. Descent mode is activated by holding D on the keyboard. Moving the switch forward to the route mode will engage the autopilot and start your route. Press the R button on your keyboard to engage route mode. With route mode engaged, the aircraft will turn toward the first waypoint with no more than a 15-degree bank angle. You will notice a light on the top dash will illuminate with either ENR nav on or ENR course, depending on the position of the DH-DT switch. Set the BR, RD, or barometric radar switch to the desired altitude submode on the autopilot according to your task. For our task today, we will use the barometric submode. Set the switch to the BR position. When in the barometric submode, the HUD will display your barometric altitude number, and when in radar altitude mode, the HUD will display a scale that is visible while the aircraft is below 50 meters. When above 300 meters, the radar altimeter doesn't work properly and the barometric mode should be used. Climb to 325 meters and then maintain your altitude by ensuring the rate of climb indicator is at 0. Press the altitude hold button on the autopilot panel. Continue flying to waypoint 1. When approaching a waypoint in DH or desired heading mode, the aircraft will begin its turn after the waypoint has been passed. When in DT or desired track mode, a linear lead turn estimate is done prior to the waypoint to intercept the next course track. In both modes, DH or DT, the next waypoint light will illuminate 100 meters before the turn. The aircraft will then initiate an auto turn toward the next waypoint with a bank angle of less than 15 degrees. When the turn starts, the navigation data on the PVI 800 is replaced and the next waypoint light goes out. 5 degrees before the new heading, the heading is auto-corrected with the current position of the aircraft at the end of the turn and the drift. The procedure for all of the other turns will be the same. While the aircraft is finishing the course, watch how the route navigation lights on the overhead dash turn on and off as it approaches new waypoints. While en route, monitor your position on the ABRIS, the automatic calculation of navigation parameters, the heading on the HSI, and the magnetic compass. "250 meters before the last waypoint, the route end light will illuminate. 2 kilometers past the last waypoint, route mode will disengage and the route end light will turn off. The aircraft will then stabilize on its current heading. The Flight Director mode is a hands-on mode where you have to control the angular position of the aircraft with the cyclic and altitude with the collective. To maintain proper altitude and speed, you will use indicators on the HUD and ADI. Preparation and engagement is the same as route mode. Disengage autopilot mode with the FD-AP push light switch on the autopilot panel. It will turn blue when in Flight Director mode. Automatic angular stabilization will be disabled, but all autopilot channels will be dampened. The Joint Pitch Bank Director and Altitude Director will appear on the HUD. Desired airspeed is maintained by changing the pitch angle of the aircraft, nose up or down, and the altitude is maintained by using the collective. If the altitude director is increasing, increase the collective, and if it's decreasing, decrease the collective. You can set new airspeed and altitude by pressing and holding the trimmer button and set your new airspeed and altitude. When you release the trimmer button, the new airspeed and altitude will be locked in and the director will display information to maintain your new settings. Take a moment to become familiar with the HUD indicators in Flight Director. When you are ready to continue, press the FD-AP switch to disengage the Flight Director. Automatic pilot controls will be re-enabled. We can fly our course backwards as well by changing the order of waypoints. To change the order of waypoints while in flight, disengage route mode by pressing R on the keyboard. Verify the route descent switch on the collective is in the neutral position. Turn off the PVI 800 by pressing the waypoint push light. Turn on the waypoint push light and then on the keypad, set the new first waypoint by pressing the corresponding waypoint number on the keypad. Press the enter button on the keypad to save the first new waypoint. Do this for the following sequence: 4, 3, 2, 1. When you're done, press the waypoint push light button again to turn it off. Press the spacebar key to continue after you have set your new waypoints. To activate the new waypoint sequence, press the waypoint push light button to turn on waypoint navigation mode. Press the number key of the first new waypoint and it will appear on the display. Engage route mode by pressing R on the keyboard and the aircraft will initiate an auto turn towards the new waypoint. Let the aircraft head to the new waypoints. The PVI 800 can store up to 10 target points that are either added in flight or loaded from the mission editor. In flight, you can use the route mode to navigate to any of the target points by the shortest distance. This is done by either DH or DT submodes. When flying to a target point, an OT or target point symbol will appear on the HUD. If the target is less than 100 kilometers away, bearing information and distance will also be displayed. Disengage the route mode by pressing R on the keyboard. Turn off the waypoint button on the PVI 800. Press the navigation target button on the PVI 800. Then press the number of the target point that is displayed on the ABRIS that you wish to travel to. The target point on the ABRIS is marked with an X on the map and is called TRG01. Press 1 on the keypad to enter target point 1. Navigation data is then sent to the HSI, navigation control panel, and the HUD. Press the spacebar to continue. Engage route mode by pressing R on the keyboard. The navigation light will turn on depending on the position of the DH-DT switch. The aircraft will then make a turn from its current position to the target point. When approaching the target point, the route end light will illuminate. 2 kilometers after the target point has been passed, the route mode will disengage, the navigation route mode light will go off, and the aircraft will stabilize on its current heading. Using the route mode, you can fly to one of 2 preloaded airfields from the mission editor. This is done in either the DH or DT submodes. The navigation parameters are the same for the waypoint mode. Disengage route mode by pressing R on the keyboard. Turn off the nav target button on the PVI 800. Press the airfield push light button to select airfield navigation. Press number 1 or 2 for the airfield you wish to travel to. For this training, press the number 1 on the PVI 800's keypad. Navigation data is then sent to the HSI, navigation control panel, and the HUD. Press the spacebar key to continue. Engage route mode by pressing R on the keyboard. The aircraft will then make a turn toward the selected airport. Similar to the target point navigation, as you approach the airport, the route end light will illuminate. 2 kilometers after passing the airport, the route mode will disengage, the route end light will go out, and the aircraft will stabilize on its current course. If no navigation data target is selected, for example waypoint, you can use route mode to hold the aircraft on its current heading and altitude. In this mode, DH, DT submodes will have no effect. To set up automatic route stabilization, follow the steps like before. Disengage route mode by pressing R on the keyboard. Turn off any navigation target such as airfield or waypoint, and then engage route mode by pressing R on the keyboard. While in this mode, you can change the airspeed and altitude by using the trimmer to set new inputs. Press and hold the trim button, set the desired pitch angle for the speed and the new altitude. When you release the trim button, the new altitude and speed will be locked in. This completes today's lesson on the Ka-50's PVI 800, ABRIS, and autopilot navigation systems. You may continue to practice flying around and using the navigation systems, or you may exit the mission at any time.